Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Youth and Education meeting for November 14th, 2023. It is 6:38, and we will begin the meeting. I did not bring my script. You have the script? I don't have the class. You read the script and I'll do the meeting. Ash is gonna read the script and I'll conduct the meeting.
Okay, tonight we are joined by Angel Mesquay, who's filling in for Khalid Nixon, our staff liaison to the committee. In order to conduct an efficient meeting, let's observe a few ground rules. Up there. I'll read off of here. Number one, no one may speak until granted the floor. Number two, CB11 members. If you have a question about board business or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized. To raise your hand through Zoom, click the participants icon and you will find the raise hand function there. If you have technical difficulty, click the chat icon and relay your difficulty to the staff. Members should not engage in back and forth discussion. The chair will recognize the next person to speak. The chat should not be used for CB11 business or questions about agenda topics. All such remarks should be made on the record when recognized. Please keep your questions and comments brief and on topic to the discussion. Members of the public, if you have a question or comment about the subjects on the agenda, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized. We will now take attendance by roll call. Committee members, please answer present when your name is called.
Kareem? Present. Rosa?
Present.
David?
Present.
John? Here. Annie? Christina? Sage? Jennifer?
Present.
Asher?
Present.
Isaac is excused. Russell? Present. You have quorum.
We will now adopt the agenda for today's meeting. The agenda for tonight's meeting was distributed ahead of time by the board office and was posted online. If there is no objection, we will adopt the agenda as stated. Committee members, if you wish to object adopting the agenda, you may raise your hand to be recognized. All right, seeing as there's no objections, the agenda for tonight's meeting is adopted. The meeting, what's it called? The minutes from last meeting were distributed to committee members ahead of time by the board office. If there's no objection, we'll adopt the minutes from that meeting. Does anyone object?
Can I be recognized? This is Sage speaking.
I'm sorry, can I also be recognized? This is Christina. I couldn't unmute when my name was called. I apologize.
Christina and Sage are both marked excused. They notified us before.
All right.
Thank
Okay,
you.
cool. Thank you. I didn't hear that when the roll call was taken.
The minutes from last meeting, does anyone object to that? All right, seeing no objections, the minutes from the last meeting are adopted, and the minutes of tonight's meeting, who's taking the minutes?
Jennifer.
Are being taken by Jennifer, so.
And yes, I want to acknowledge Jennifer for completing the minutes and volunteering to do them as well. We appreciate that very much. Thank you.
All right. So now we're gonna go to announcements. Does anyone have announcements? David.
I have two. One, I want to just say that Rosa and I attended the legislative breakfast for District 4 CEC, not CEC, but for the District 4. It was a wonderful event, and it was an interesting thing. They did this like speed, what do they call it? Speed, not dating, but in the concept.
Networking.
Thank you, Dr. Christie. They did a speed networking, and it was really great to go around to different tables and really listen. And as the chair of the Youth and Education, just to hear some of the projects, some we knew about, some we didn't know about. And what I did do is encourage all the principals to come make presentations at the community board. That helps put those kind of projects on our radar. And sometimes we can follow up and add into our district needs. We have kept some things on that have been partially funded, and we hope that we will continue to get the rest of the funding for bathrooms, renovations, and all the other things, auditoriums getting air conditions and many different kinds of things, mostly all capital related expenses as well. And then also, you know, just in following up, like I've said, we've opened ourselves up to DOE. We also want to, and then we are doing more with the charter schools with our meetings And I also would like to invite Cathedral, and we'll send out a formal invitation to invite Cathedral High School that is now moved to 97th Street and is in the Marymount old building for the school. So we would love to, again, invite them and be open to all educators and different types of educational programs that support our kids in this community. Any other updates? Angel?
A general announcement, the 23rd precinct informed us that they're doing a turkey giveaway on the 19th, starting at 1:30. The giveaway will be happening at 114th Street and Pleasant Avenue until they exhaust all the turkeys. We also are working with the owners of East River Plaza. They're trying to coordinate a turkey giveaway. We'll have more details as they get confirmed, as they get finalized. And Borinquen is doing a turkey giveaway too, but I couldn't find the flyer before I started talking.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else? All right, so now we're gonna go to our informational updates, and first we have Department of Education, so Dr. Christie.
Good evening, everyone. First and foremost, I just want to thank each and every single one of you for being here. I know that you are volunteering your time for our community, and I just want to say thank you for being here. It is November. It's a busy time of the year. We have a lot of great things, and I want to thank Community Board 11 for coming to our legislative breakfast and safety town hall. It's always great to be in community. As David and Rose and a lot of our community can attest to, our capital plan projects are facilities. It's an ongoing advocacy, and we will continue to encourage our schools to come and present. And also, I will try to make sure that we share more reports of what is taking place. I will say, and I think we've presented here, and I will continue to advocate for the pool to be, they're in the process of repairing the pool in the M45 building, but making it become a true aquatic center for the entire community. So more information to follow about that. Some of the major needs, but we're making progress on them due to everyone's advocacy, is the AC in the public spaces. Also, bathroom upgrades, and we have a lot of accessibility projects coming up. So accessibility has been something a lot of our children and families, we need elevators in our buildings so that we can actually be accessible for everyone. And so right now we have a pending project at the PSMS 57 building. And we also have been slated to add elevators to the 112-206 building, as well as the 155-377 campus. So those are some places that are going to be the next schools to start with the elevators. Another project that's been going on in the district is our cafeteria enhancement. Our students love this project because it not only does it like enhance their cafeteria with different types of seating, but it also the food choices, the presentation, and it's really been uplifting. As far as events coming up, this week we have our middle school, high school fair. It's a virtual fair. And then next week, next Monday, we have a literacy event. All are welcome. But please know that for this literacy event, we will also have a turkey raffle. We have about 50 turkeys to raffle off, but it's going to be for also our New York City Reads. We will have the 3 curriculum choices. So if you're interested in learning more about the 3 curriculum choices that are across the city, Wit and Wisdom, HMH, and Expeditionary Learning, they will be available. And that event starts at 4 o'clock on Monday, November 20th. I think those are the main things. I almost want to say, Rosa, David, am I forgetting? I'm probably forgetting a lot of things, but those are some of the main buckets. It is November. Please continue to stay connected. Oh, that's what I wanted to share. Right now, we're really working on the pivot to remote. And what we mean by the pivot to remote instruction is when we have inclement weather or an emergency, are our schools ready to pivot to remote? what we're facing right now is most of our schools, we had to complete a survey that was due on November 10th. We have devices. However, one of our issues and concerns, and I do want to lift it to the Community Board 11, is the connectivity. Especially we have a large population of students in transitional housing, and not all of our transitional housing has access to Wi-Fi. So even if we give a device, if we don't have access to Wi-Fi, how are the students going to be able to engage in the remote instruction? We're trying to explore ideas around hotspots. How can we get the devices that were enabled with the Wi-Fi, and the city is working on that. But I just wanted to share that is something that we're working on, is making sure that all of our schools have a plan for that. Also for this spring, our schools are going to have to start computer-based assessments for grades 3 through 8. So that's another concern from the school leaders, is making sure that they have enough computers in their schools for this assessment. So I just wanted to share that with you, because some of our school leaders are concerned about, they wish they had enough devices to where they could have one set at the school and one set at home, because sometimes things don't return to the schools or things happen. And so that's what we're striving for. And so our schools will be writing Reso-A grants for technology, leveraging our partnerships with the NAACP. They've helped us in the past, and during the pandemic, they gave us more than 1,500 devices. And so we're compiling that list. So by the next time I come here, I'll have like specific numbers about like what we're looking for as like our dreams and wish list. So again, thank you for inviting me to this space. Thank you for being partners in this work. Really just want to thank everyone who's here, Community Board 11, and all of our members in the community for just being partners in this work. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Christie. Any questions? We shall continue.
CC4.
CEC4, yeah, Rose.
Do you mind putting the sharing the slides that I sent earlier?
Sure.
You start, I'll find them.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to provide a visual as to what I'm specifically trying to present. A lot of our community members are visuals, just like me. People can speak the whole day, but if I don't have something in front of me or visual, I'm like half lost. So our meeting was November 8th, and it was in person and also Zoom video conferencing at CPE1 at 6 p.m. We had the Office of District Planning. Thank you so much. They presented data last updated in November 2022. It does not reflect the current 2022-2023 students, the students enrollment data. We also had, I believe I have their email address if you would like to get in contact with them directly. That's their email address. We also had the Office of Energy and Sustainability. Elizabeth Chad and her colleague couldn't make it. So she presented on climate action days, and there will be 14 days to highlight sustainability and encourage climate action in schools with students. December 6th, it's energy. You can go to the next page. February 7th is waste. April 17th is health, wellness, and green space. June 12th is water. Another thing, we also passed a resolution in support of monitoring and reporting indoor air quality in school. It passed unanimously. The resolution supports the Manhattan Borough President Legislative Initiative Bill 1127-2203. As Dr. Christie stated, we have our middle and high school We only have one high school that is under Dr. Christie's sleeve. And today we had the middle school and Esperanza Preps presentation highlighting some of our schools. Tomorrow also and Thursday also at 4:30 p.m. Everyone is invited. You can email Lenise if you would like more information, you would like the link. Also on Thursday, we are going to have information on how to prepare your Title I proposal. All the schools that have the 1% allocation, please, you're welcome to come and listen and learn November 16 at 10 a.m. via Zoom. If you need more information, please reach out to District 4 Family Leadership Coordinator, Ms. Nancy Pereira. Her email is on the screen. We're also having November, what am I talking about? Yes, November President's Council meeting this Friday at 12 p.m. You can email co-presidents Rashida Brown Harris and Magdalena Moral. The email is on the screen. And as Dr. Christie stated, we're going to have celebrate literacy on Monday at 4 p.m. PS 007. Everyone welcome. More information, please email Lenise. And the next page is a lot of information of where to reach the Manhattan High Schools President's Council. I am the current president. We support 121 high schools in Manhattan, which includes District 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Also, if you're not aware, the chancellor has his own Chancellor's Parent Advisory Council, and we meet every month. We are president of every single President's Council in the 32 districts, including all the boroughs. We met November 9th and discussed that parent leaders, Department of Education emails were not going to be deactivated on October 28th. Rather, they will let us keep the emails until the spring of 2024. The next meeting is December 14 at 9:30 a.m. via YouTube Live. The website is on the screen and the email is also on the screen if you would like to know more. Oh, I put this twice, my apologies. CEC4 questions, please email our administrative assistant, Ms. Farah Khan. Her email is on the screen. And Monday to Friday, phone number is in there. And if you want to apply to be Community Education Council, please email Faith directly. In District 4, we have 2 vacancies. And I believe that's it. Any questions?
Thank you, Rose.
Thank you, Rosa. Is anyone here from CEC 5? Okay, so we're gonna continue then. Anyone here from the District Attorney's Office?
They come to other meetings?
District
Yeah,
Attorney?
yeah.
Public safety.
they can.
Huh?
Yeah, they
Public
can.
safety. They have a new community person,
Right.
because it's just coming
I
on.
met her one time.
We'll look at better.
Yeah, all right, maybe if they hop on later, but, so I think now we're gonna go to presentations and we have no presentations, but we have old business, right?
We have Urban Dove that's returned. Yes, Andrew.
I just wanted to add something before.
Yeah.
Sorry for the interruption, but Rosa reminded me, so the second turkey giveaway is on November 20th. This is important, bro. This is important.
Yeah, no, it is.
November 20th at Borinquen, which is 2265 3rd Avenue. That's corner of 123rd Street from 3 to 6 p.m. And also, just wanted to share with everyone in the meeting and on the meeting that Rosa's presentation, the slide deck, I'll add it to the calendar. So for whoever didn't see it when we're first sharing, it's there. Because she shared a lot of information.
Thank you, Andrew.
Yep.
So we do have Urban Dove that's returned. They have been with us now for the last 3 months. Came and made an announcement, gave a formal presentation in October. And since that meeting, as we discussed, possibility of a letter of support, they did submit a request for a letter of support. And they're back. So before we take a motion or anything, is there anything you'd like to add, Jay? Hi. So please, the floor is yours.
Oh, well, thanks, everybody. Thanks for having me. Great to see everybody again. I've known a lot of you, some of you for a lot of years. Urban Dove's been in East Harlem for 2 decades now. And I know we went around this in 2018 when charters existed. And we thank you for your patience now that we're back with an opportunity to bring the school to East Harlem. No, nothing really to add. I know Andrew and my team has met with you last couple of months. I think we've gotten the whole picture. I'm really coming back on just to see if there are any questions that maybe my team couldn't answer. For those of you who I haven't met, I'm the founder and executive director of Urban Dove. Started as an after-school program in 1998. Worked with some of you, including my very old friend Russell. Nice to see you again, sir. We transferred our program into a school-based model in 2012. We have a school in Brooklyn, a school in the Bronx, and next year we'll be adding a school in Queens and a school in Manhattan. So we have plans for our Manhattan school to be in CSD4, which we're really excited about, to be able to come back to the community. And I know a letter of support is being considered, so I just wanted to come on and see if there were any questions for me or if there were any aspects of the program that maybe didn't get as fully explained as I can, or give any of the history. And if not, I'm happy to leave you all to your work and go about my business. Nice to see you again, David. Thank you.
As well. Are there any questions for Jay regarding the letter of support? Without that, with no hands raised, are there any comments, pro or for, or, against, not giving the letter? Seeing that no hands are raised, I will entertain a motion at this point.
Motion to provide Urban Dove Transfer School, support for a facility in East Harlem.
Ashley Rodriguez made a motion, second by John Green. Angel, will you please take the roll call?
Certainly. Kareem? Abstain? Rosa Diaz?
Yes.
David?
I'm present and not voting. My wife does work for AIM Charter New Visions and might be possibly working for Urban Dove next year. So I will recuse myself.
John?
Aye.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Asher?
Yeah,
Russell? Yes. Motion carries.
Thank you, Jay, and we look forward to helping with that transition. I keep trying to figure out where you're gonna get the space, but I'm sure you're determined. And any way that we can help and support your, transition and welcoming in
Yeah.
UNT's.
Thank you. We will be back in touch and we will keep all of you posted. The facility thing, hopefully by your next meeting, I'll have some more information I can share on that. We're close to a space that I think will be great. And we look forward to working with all of you, for many, many, many years. So thank you. Really appreciate your support.
Thank you, Jay. Have a great night. Thank you all.
You too.
so the next thing on the agenda is the follow-up, the committee mission and goals. Did everyone get because we had to connect?
Yeah, sorry, we handed out an old one. That was my fault. I did send a new one to Khalid, but for whatever reason, we didn't transition it. So I'd like to just read this for a moment. And then, I did ask people to reach out and send some information in. Not too many people responded. So we will entertain today possible things that people want to work with, or we will continue to work on some of those things that we began to work on and look for other things as they come around. So right now, this is the current mission for the Youth and Education Committee. The Youth and Education Committee advocates for funding, programs, and policies that support youth to secure a college education, careers of their own choosing, and economic stability for them and their families. Our educational activities should seek to encompass all learners, including English and second language learners and special needs learners as well. We advocate for academic excellence and knowledge of social justice issues in our community. We seek to develop and maintain positive relationships with all local schools, colleges, and community-based organizations to assist our schools in getting needed city services. We strive to give a direct voice to youth of the community and to assist youth groups in any way possible, consistent with our mission. Is there anything anybody feels strikingly about that we should add, change, delete at this point? I hope everybody's had a chance. Yes, Russell?
I would suggest, any post-secondary education opportunity, colleges, not for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I think we try to include that in careers, but I was, when I was reading it again, I kind of felt that wasn't necessarily clear, so. Like trade schools and
Any type of training.
and actually, a study saying that people right now get paid better jobs than that going to college.
Post-secondary education opportunity.
Yes, yes.
No.
Anybody else? If there's nobody else.
Okay, alright. I was gonna put also here, like, after, maybe just to all learners, including, maybe add, maybe just like, I totally blanked on what I was gonna say. Like, just like social issues facing kids now, also like some of the LGBT kids, and then also, mental health resources. Cause like we named a few, and I know it says all learners, but if we're gonna name a few, myself.
No, that's fine. I mean, again, we rather be inclusive than not.
Right, diverse.
Right.
I have a little, maybe how to incorporate it. Our mission should also include a safe, inclusive, and non-judgmental place for youth to express their needs and wants.
There we go, yeah.
That's good. I think that encompasses what Ash was partially trying to say there. Yeah, okay, good. Rosa, hold that. I'm gonna just, instead of me trying to write it, I'm gonna just take it from you. How does everybody feel about those edits? Any other things that we think?
I have a few.
Yes, no, go ahead.
I think maybe like in the first sentence, like youth and adults, because we know like the education system has failed some adults, and so they're like back at square one in some ways, or not as far along as you would hope they would be. And then also I think this is what like Rosa and Asher were saying, but like youth are outside of school more than they're inside of school, so like what can we do to support them? Yes, like obviously education in school is very important, and they spend probably most of their waking hours there, but
Yeah, I'm not trying to defend, but I think we were trying to like, when we talked about social justice and those other things in community, were more of the outside things. But, you know, I mean, again, if it's not clear, see, again, I've lived this, right? So again, you're coming new to it. And if it's not standing out, then maybe we should make it stand out. Again, I'd rather have more than we need
Yes.
than to leave out something we should have had.
yeah, maybe just adding another word besides like knowledge, like action, like we don't wanna just like know and make people aware of social justice issues, but like act upon them as well.
We advocate for academic excellence and our knowledge of social issues in our community. Okay, so help me with the language.
Any word to act.
Yeah, maybe just get rid of knowledge, like we advocate for excellence and social justice issues.
Oh, take out like knowledge, just of
Yeah.
social justice.
Cause that was just reading to me like an
Yeah.
academic sense, like when I was reading it, so that was.
No, but again, you know, perspective and where people are at a point. You know, we can see the same thing, but see it differently, right? So, again, you can see how we've grown it from the previous one, right? So we did try to, and one thing I know, even in here, we wanted to make sure that we distinguish our educational activities as separate from just the youth. But that may not be clear, that's, you know, so maybe we should, you know, of all ages or something kind of including that. All right, I will work on putting these suggestions together. I got with Rosa. I don't want to read it. Here's the one you wrote.
I have it here.
No, well, give that to me and I'll get
Oh.
another. Thank you.
And,
Yeah, take this one.
yes,
And then give me that so I
I
can
will.
incorporate that.
yes, so I did write something else. Nothing, but what about also our mission and goal should be to provide educational paid internships or work opportunities to support their financial future.
We don't have money for that.
Not
No, but-
us to
But
have.
see, again, I
to
think we're not gonna make this a book, right? So we need,
Why
the
not?
mission should be,
And it should be things that are doable,
right, and that we all,
things that we could measure, that we've.
so we
We
advocate.
can definitely do that, provide internship, bring a lot of presenters here so they can provide the internships
That
to
would be
us.
somebody else providing it, that would be us providing.
Right.
You're right.
There's
Provide,
like working
with community-based
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Pastors.
That's personally.
Pastor Scott, your hand is up. Thank you, Ash, for letting me monitor that.
Thanks, Ash. I was sitting here trying to figure out who should I text to get some love. I'm sorry. I was thinking, and let me know, Dave. I don't want to make this a book, but I was thinking maybe could we advocate for pathways to success for justice-involved youth?
Yeah, because that's something we were speaking about in our goals, not in our goals, in our budget request. So, yeah.
No, again, I think what we're doing is just opening it up to make sure that we encompass all the populations that we overlap with, you know, because too often we have forgotten adults in this process in the past, and that's why we want to make sure that we include it. But yes, you're absolutely right, Isaac Scott, there definitely needs to be, yes.
From the sentence, we seek to develop and maintain positive relationships. I will add, I guess to kind of elaborate on maintaining, like collaborate with local schools, colleges, and community-based organizations. So them bringing in their resources and bringing it not only to here, but you know, them having a platform to kind of.
And I would even say elected officials in that, bringing in them as well.
Definitely.
Good. All right, so anything else? I don't want, again, what I will do is I'll get this out to everybody before our next meeting so that we can make any adjustments, any other suggestions, maybe I still missed something, writing it down. And then we'll have it finalized for our next committee meeting. We don't necessarily have to vote on that, right? I mean, it's a vote, but not a motion vote, right?
I think the committee should vote, just so that we can memorialize that you all agree that should. But outside of the committee, no, the full
Okay.
board doesn't do it. Just you guys.
Right,
Do we vote now or do we vote like once David like puts it all together?
once we change.
Once you've gotten to what you.
Okay.
all
Yeah,
agree
we've
is
taken
the
in the
final package,
suggestions now. And then-
I'm
and then
sorry, I
we'll
have a
move on.
hand up.
Oh,
Go ahead, Christina, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry to jump in, but y'all were talking about voting. I just wanted to say something before you voted. As I was reading this and listening to it, I kind of feel like we're focusing on all of the older kids, and I think we have way more elementary schools than we do middle and high schools. So is there some kind of way we can work something in there that encompasses all students and not just older students? Because it's sounding to me like this is geared toward older students only.
I think the edits that we made were geared towards older students, but just in general, the wording that we have currently is just very general about all students, because every student, even elementary school, could they could get something out of, like, let's say, for example, colleges, community-based organizations, because in elementary school, that's like, you could still talk to them about that stuff without it necessarily having a, push to do it, but yeah.
I think that's a good point though, of like, you're preparing elementary school students probably for like middle school and high school and not necessarily for college, so like how can we prepare them for whatever the next step is, whether it's middle school or whether it's college or a training program?
Well, I feel like the way that we, even with our like edits that we were doing, it's very generalized that it's everyone. And there's only a couple of sentences specifying older.
The way it's stated right now, we're talking about all learners.
Yeah.
I think everybody's included in all learners.
You know, it's interesting, even in just raising this, so Children's Aid's mission is to help kids, in short, become healthy, productive adults that, you know, and we do that by our main goal is to get kids through college, or knowing that not every kid goes to college. So I think, you know, again, that's the mission of the entire agency, and then each program has the different vision of how they implement that vision. So yes, you're right. But I beg to differ that we are preparing kids for college while they're in elementary, because the foundations of skills all build upon another. And an elementary kid does not get the skills they need to go on to the next level. It impacts all the way down and all the way up.
It takes like one break.
So, you know, we didn't say seniors in here because we included all learners as that. And maybe we can identify and say all learners from birth to.
Or,
Yeah.
or it can be like, you say something like this, as Youth and Education Committee advocates for funding programs and policies that support all youth.
Include all.
Maybe all individuals,
That's all
youth,
learners.
adults, yes,
This
Angel.
is true too. That's true also.
This is all learners we're talking
So
about.
two things, so perhaps learners of all ages might be a good compromise. And then the other thing
I like
is,
Yeah.
the focus is a lot of education, because that's super duper important. But youth does a lot of other things too, needs a lot of things too, other than education, so. I don't know what the word is or what the phrase is, but perhaps thinking about other activities that youth participate in. You know, sports or, you know, music or whatever, and we can, you all can figure out, like, you know, if you agree how to incorporate that.
Right, arts and sciences is a good thing.
Like,
Oh, no, I
the Jazz
agree.
Alliance thing is coming soon, and, or like, just proposed, like, things like that, sports leagues, you know, artistic, like, stuff, like, we have a lot of that.
That all kids have, all people have opportunity for recreational and. See, then I think sometimes we're getting beyond everything. Now we're including, what are we not, what are we really gonna do? And this all then ties into our goals. Our goals and mission should all be tied into and vision. And if we encompass everything, then that's the community board and all the committees.
Well, not necessarily, it depends how you word it. Like, what I was, you know, pointing to is that youth do participate in a number of things that aren't just education.
So maybe
Well, I
our
shouldn't say
recreation
just.
and our. I don't like just using recreation, it's just, like, you know, and I'll frame this, as a youth developer myself, everything is educational that I do with youth. That it all has some basis of learning and mentoring and role modeling that leads to something else, right? So, but maybe,
David,
maybe-
can you use the
how about
word
we take
STEAM in there?
recommendations? We advocate for all activities.
No, I'm not advocating for taking out education, I'm saying in addition to that.
I wonder if we move, so for me, I'm not trying to like be a contrarian,
No,
but the
no,
reason why like it reads to me as focus, I think like Christina, on higher, like high school and above is. The first sentence talking about college education, careers and economic stability, and I could see how it might be hard if you're working with preschoolers or third graders, that like. Those are things like, yes, like of course, you're building the blocks to get them there, but. There's blocks in between that as well, so maybe like talking about. Academic excellence in the knowledge or academic excellence in social justice issues as like the first part. And then going into education and then going into,
Well, I'll say this, I'm sorry, Ashley, let you go. Social emotional development is probably the most important thing that impacts kids in so many other ways, specifically around education. And if your social emotional is not right because you don't have enough to eat, or you're living in transitional living, all these other things impact on education as well. So, you know, like, if anything, I think we start with the social emotional.
yeah, that's what I'm saying,
you
like
know.
start.
No, I agree, you know.
Throw
maybe-
everything up front and then break it down instead of focusing on the career first, which is.
To
important.
healthy adults. You know,
Right.
and then maybe, all right, so I can see, we're really doing some rework on this. And maybe, you know, we should just throw out some ideas of what people want to work on goals until we finalize this plan. So then we really tie the goals in this year that we're gonna work on to the, maybe some of the changes or additions that we've added to the mission. Thoughts?
My thoughts are, because we have we go through this every few years as we change our body. We have a youth and education committee. In each category, if we just say youth and education committee, we generally lose focus that we are working with out of school age kids, young people and adults. When we talk about youth, and we combine education with that, we generally get focused on development of kids, no matter what grade they're in, from pre-K to high school. So we as a committee have to think about how do we narrow the scope of what we're doing in writing and being able to connect that with the activities that we can connect people with. We don't have to be so detailed. If we say all young people, all those that will be willing to be educated, recreated, enriched, that's what we should have more focus on than being specific. You know, these things is being too broad, like Dave was about to say, we're gonna have a vote here of trying to do things. I'm saying let's put things down that we know within our 9 months, 10 months of doing, planning, and getting resources, that at the end, we can have something that we measure. Because we are mostly responding to requests of others. We're gonna put things out there that we are focused on doing and accomplishing, but now we have to take all takers. When people come to get satisfied, coordinating with the school districts, the schools that we work with, the community-based organizations, that's how I believe we should just approach it, not be as broad as we are attempting to do. But the general things we know, we want every young person to grow up to be healthy. We want them to be educated. We want them to be motivated to work toward a career, wherever that might be, whether it's in college or post-secondary education opportunities. We want them to be able to be physically engaged, culturally engaged, socially engaged, all those things that we want. We don't have to be specific. People of all genders, all our social issues, concerns, cultural, we want them to embrace. We have an ever-growing population that's coming to the city in our neighborhoods, gentrification or not, everybody's included to live in the neighborhood. So I think if we could think about settling down and see what points we can touch, we could be more focused that way.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because like Children's Aid mission is very short. And you know, I think, yes, thank you.
Well, the mission should be short, right? And then like I thought I was hearing you say, or maybe I just wanted you to hear it. That then the goals will be the specifics.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. And that's why we really can't finalize really goals until we finalize the mission.
Well, like the mission is like the scope,
Yeah.
and then you get into the details, like this is what the post is, this is what this post is, this is what this thing. And y'all can, you know. It sounds like you have 10 goals from your discussion, right? That once you settle on the whatever number of sentences is gonna comprise the mission, you're gonna have a whole bunch of leftover sentences that are gonna be on the goal. Like you just laid out a bunch of stuff.
Yes,
You're not sure that makes
sorry.
sense. Okay.
So I have a question. Over here it says our educational activities should seek learners and special needs learners. What is our educational activities?
So it's not ours in terms of that, ours in the community. We should ensure that those things encompass, that the things that we're coming up with, the advocation encompass these learners, should take into account the special needs, that the special stuff that's needed to support those learners. Like Dr. Christie's always talking about the English language learners, right? And then once kids get to a certain level, they lose the status and then they lose the funding, but they still need the supports, right? So again, it's advocating for those kinds of things as well. Ash, you want to, sorry.
No.
You got something else to say? It's better than. That's a lot, right? Now, how do we go make sure we got all this stuff down? That's why I will work on this right away in the next few days and get it out before full board, just so we have time to play with it. before our next meeting. Anything else that we think we should accomplish this? And then we just want to get, talking a little bit about goals, and some of the stuff.
I think whether it's in the goals or in the mission, because we highlight like some groups, highlighting like the New Yorkers and making sure they feel welcome in our either mission or goals,
True.
wherever it falls.
Good point, good point. Again, but that's part of our role too, is to advocate for these things, so that if people are not providing, we should make the case for why they should be provided, right? Whether it's the city funding it, and that's what we do with our budget needs and statement of budget needs and district priorities, is look at the things that are occurring. And that's why it was really so good to just sit there with a group of principals and go around table to table and just hear, and hopefully we can get to help some of those things actually come through fruition, So we'll work on this, we'll complete this before the next meeting, and then vote on it. In terms of what is people's passions? Let me start with that. Like, what's something you would have no problem running to stand in front, advocate for, make the case for why we should do this, see what the needs are, go after whoever can provide those needs? What are your passions? I've shared mine, and getting these schools, now that I've been in the school, the conditions of these D4 schools, some of them being over 100 years old, I'm on a mission to support those upgrades because it determines so many other things. Yes.
I would say my passion is something I take a lead on personally, but also in my professional career, just teaching youth financial education, just providing them with the resources and the knowledge necessary for them to reach out the basic understanding of that, as well as alternatives to college and post-secondary learning. So like getting into trades as well as entrepreneurship, opportunities, expressing themselves through their passion, whether it's the arts, tech, or whatever the case may be.
I mean, you encompassed a lot of us. I'm in the mission, right? Anybody else? Thank you. Russ, what would you like to see change or different?
You go where we are.
You good where we at? Rosa? I got no problem calling people out.
Yeah, we'll be here all night. I have so many things that I would love to do. So, the primary is, I guess, supporting youth to have food in the table. Not just youth, but everyone, to have a plate of hot food in their table. Because I know a lot of newcomers live in shelters, they don't have a microwave, they don't have a stove. So that would be my priority.
I just want to add Rosa, along with the CDC, but it was really Rosa's lead, set up the refrigerator and the community refrigerator, where if people needed food, they could just come during the hours it was open and get food, and again, that's providing. So, again, not only we advocated, but Rosa actually went out there and did that.
Yeah.
Actually, Malik, who's part of this committee, but on the board, has a clothing drive coming up, right, to get the date offhand. But he's done often drives for the community themselves. So, yes, thank you, Rosa. Did you have something else? You said many things, but you only named one thing.
I also have, but that may be for like announcements later, and I totally forgot. We're together with Tamika Ma. We are doing a Thanksgiving distribution on Thursday of next week. I forgot the time. I will send the flyer in. Just whoever comes in gets a hot plate of food and clothing. I'll have.
Where at, Rosa?
In 125th and Lexington. I'll send in the flyer. I totally forgot. I have so many things in my brain, but we will be giving hot plate of food to everyone that comes in, and as long as it, survives. Yeah.
John?
Well, I have two things. One of them is, I know will never happen, but it's something I would, one, I'm into life skills, like how to do your taxes, how to look for a job, how to prepare for a job interview, how to balance a checkbook. I mean, things like that. I mean, those are skills that everyone needs in life. Now, the one thing I know that'll never happen is when to bring back commercial education. You know, the thing is, remember they used to have like automotive high school and aviation, where a lot of kids graduated from high school and had a skill. The thing is that that's something I feel that should come back.
Commercial, that's how they,
Vocation.
Vocational, yeah, they eliminate the vocational diploma.
You're young enough when they had three diplomas.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
Commercial.
You already have it?
No, I'm sure.
Oh,
I'm gonna come to Ash and okay.
oh, I was gonna say, there is a culinary school, right? When they graduate with a chef diploma, they graduate with a food handling diploma, they graduate with a second language diploma, and that's what they find in high school. There's also aviation high school, which is Luperon High School in the Bronx. There's so many commercial high schools that you call it.
Yeah, but there were more
But they are.
art and design, I mean, do they still have art and design?
Yeah.
Yes, they have the
Yeah,
aviation school, high
So,
school.
Queens, right?
Yeah,
In Bronx.
because you still Long Island City.
But there's so many.
Because automotive was in.
We have Co-op Tech right here on 96th Street.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see Christina's hand and then I'll go back to the members in here. Christina?
Thank you. I've been waiting so long.
Sorry, I'll be looking up there.
I know somebody's got to look up. Thank you, David. As a school librarian, reading is my passion, right? Because everything you do in life, you have to read, right? So my idea is to bring books and libraries into all schools. And my other passion is STEAM, science, technology, engineering, art, and math.
Yeah, those are all perfect things, and it's so interesting because reading is really the chance of
everything.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, even I always like disguising learning. So as Rosa said, culinary, right? You learn literacy when you're doing recipes. You're reading recipes. You're learning fractions, right? You're learning math. So how we disguise learning is so important. STEAM and art, I know that it used to be STEM, and art for some reason left the schools. And when this is an interesting concept, went to where community centers and after school programs did more of those other support things and social and emotional. Then we took over more trying to do the education piece, less of the social emotional. I think we need to get back to those pieces. Yes, John.
And I think that when you say culinary, it was also science, because the thing is that you put things together and you bring something else.
Right, and you heat them up, right, John?
Yeah, because about a decade ago, Spectrum had a program with science and math where they had Chef Amberell do the science part, and they had Magic Johnson do the math part.
Interesting. I'd like to look that up. Okay, so we haven't heard from Ash and Jennifer, and if Sage is still there, I don't know if he's still here. Can't see everybody or we're blocking.
Okay, I'll go back to my goals that I set you.
Yeah.
I think working with youth that are justice involved or are involved with drug use, and then also with gun violence, there's no need, none of this matters if youth are being killed by guns. I'm also want to advocate for non-traditional learners, whether that's adults or migrant learners, students with disabilities. And then also, I think health literacy is really important and something that is missed, but if we're setting
Mhm.
young people and even adults up for like the future, like they have to be able to know about like their health and how to navigate health systems.
Yeah, I think many kids are lost in that process, and there are, you know, in this community, there's a great, even though it's on 94th, the Mount Sinai Adolescent Clinic, you know, which is an excellent, they treat kids even through mental health as early as I think age 10 now. No, they went
No, I
down
think
to,
it was
went down?
10.
yeah,
Yeah.
they did go down to 10. So there are, you know, again, sometimes we know things are out there, but we don't know how to navigate them, right? And that becomes so important. And we also open the board office, I think is very helpful as well, right?
Try to be.
Yeah.
No, we do, but it's, there's a, there's a perspective I think I can lend to this conversation from the staff perspective, right? Where we are aware of, we in the office are aware of all the stuff that's in the district. So we're like, wow, we're really resplendent with resources. But we also get out of incoming, there's nothing here, right? Messaging from the community, which is really frustrating because we know that there's a ton, but the entrenched belief for so many is that there isn't, right? So like, how do you kind of break through that, right? Because board members are a lot more in the know than general community. And I can testify that people that come to this office, half of them, like, what's this and where's that? And there's nothing. I'm like, oh, trust me, there's tons. And then they spend a couple of minutes with us and they're like, oh, wow, I don't know. And I'm so happy that we're able to do that. And all these other offices are also able to do that. But just that idea of there isn't anything that kind of feeds desperation and hopelessness was really, from this perspective, really sad to like continue to see. Like I've been here with you guys for a long time, probably too long, but to continue to always be hearing that, you're like, oh, I'm like, it's here. Like you mentioned the Mount Sinai Adolescent Health Center. That place is incredible. I'm like, yo, everything you can think of, right? And for folks to say, oh, there isn't, I'm like, oh, no, there is, and it's broad and it's deep and it's, you know, it's right there. You know,
It's like a community one stop.
it's really, like, I didn't know before I had an opportunity to tour it, just how much. I'm like,
It's massive.
It looks small from the outside, but there's a lot, they have different, I'll say, they have like different sections for different services, and they pretty much have everything there. And if you don't have, insurance, they still will take you. That's the thing, so it's very good, and I think it's an important thing because in New York, if you're over the age of 13, you have certain rights and privacy when it comes to medical care. And I think that a lot of kids end up in certain situations because they don't know the certain rights that they have. So, yeah, I think it's important that people to know that that is there, so.
When it comes to that, parents and children need to know their rights, disability too.
right.
We have a large population of young parents who are borderline kids themselves.
And knowledge is power.
Thank you, Andrew. So, before I get to Ash, I don't want to forget December 15th, Children's Aid from, what is it, 5:30? 5:30 to 7. We'll be having, what is it, No Guns Gen Z?
It's gun-free Gen Z.
Gun-free Gen Z. Ash is always correcting me. I'm so glad you're over here next to me.
okay, gotcha.
So it's a, why don't you talk about what it is? Since
Are you spelling good?
GUZ,
And,
I think she,
no, she just put you back.
gun.
Yeah, yeah.
I should have brought the flyer. We'll send the flyer and send it out. It's a town hall, meeting on gun violence. More information. There's a, you know, one of those, what are you?
QR code.
QR codes. See, I'm so, but again, it's really having and speaking out to the violence in our community. Some of the kids that are working on this summer were in Washington DC on Boys and Girls Advocacy. I talked about that before. And one of the things they did that was really spooky, but was really a great project, is that they mapped out everywhere in East Harlem where a youth was either shot or involved in a shooting. Too many spots were highlighted.
I'd be interested to see that.
You would, I'll send it to you afterwards. I have
Yeah, I think I
some
have.
photos. But it's again, some of the work that we've been working around social justice and diversity, and we love to have board members come and participate in that as well. And since Jennifer, you kind of said that's kind of some of your, you know, what you like to, we'd love to have you meet with us with the kids and attend the event.
They've been working on it for months. So.
Yeah, John,
What date is it? What date is it?
December 15th.
It's a
15th.
Friday.
And it'll be at the Lexington Academy,
Thank you.
which is 131 East 104th Street. We'll be in the auditorium and we'd love for all of you to come.
5 to 7 p.m.
5 to 7, and we'll have some refreshments.
Yeah, I guess to add on to my package as well, I definitely like that this initiative was youth led. I think that we need more youth led initiatives, kind of speaking from that perspective myself. You know, it is definitely, it's impactful to know that I'm able or that, you know, because youth that I do work with, able to implement real change and have the ideas not only listened to, but respected and actively implemented. And recognized by the community as well as not only their peers, but you know, all age groups. So I love to attend as well.
Thank you. Okay, we'll make sure. I mean, again, I'd love for everybody to come and participate, but you know, I think kids can always speak best for what we try to educate them around and what they've learned and what they've experienced. And last January, we did a forum with the consortium with youth. And it was so powerful, some of the stuff that youth talked about, things that are important to them in their community. It was interesting, the adults that facilitated thought it was gonna be some other more issues. And some of them were so interesting where, you know, when youth talked about the relationship with their parent and how the miscommunication was often a sore spot in their relationship. And it was so powerful when this young, you know, she, at first when they meeting with us, they didn't know we were gonna invite their parents to this event as well. And, you know, she got up and really spoke, and then her mother's, you know, like, I'm so sorry, I didn't know. And the dialogue that just happened at that moment was so powerful and could be felt by, you know, the adults. You know, sometimes we adults, we think we know, and that's been one of my missions is to make this a younger committee. And while there's some of us that are real old here, we have made it seems like we're moving toward the younger committee. Look, John, I'm up there too, you know. But, you know, I tell you one thing, working with youth since I've been 18 and I'm 61, I think it's kept me very youthful and just not thinking I'm as old as I really am. And being around a bunch of kids all day helps keep you youthful. I've been around Ash for now 10 years, 11 years.
10.
You haven't left me yet. So, you know, my things that I'm really passionate about is continue to give youth a voice on this board, that they should speak loudest for what are the issues that most affect them. And I want to continue that. I want to continue to work with DOE, but I also want to be fair and do more work with charter schools that are in our community and support them. And also other schools that may be in our community, such as Catholic schools or private schools, because we all have an impact. And I think, you know, some of the things sometimes a community can be very small, but to be very alone. And it's very important that we're inclusive as this community is changing. I saw some of these changes on the west side in the 60s and 70s. And, you know, just anticipate there's gonna be a different community maybe in 10, 20 years. We thought that 20, 30 years ago, and, you know, but we'll see. You know, this has been always an immigrant community and immigrants continue to come. So with our new arrivals, I think 1,700 have entered our school system, and that's K through
Just.
high school, and we don't have many high schools, so we're really talking about elementary and middle school kids. And then there's probably a lot of preschool kids that are also in this community, and it's still an immigrant community. And one of the things I did in researching for Children's Aid on the community, and it's the only place immigrants can afford to come, but I don't know if that's gonna be true going forward. You know, so how do we support families, Angel, yes?
So, picking up on what you said about like, including the other schools and stuff. Copying from parks, I was very impressed with this whole idea of, the parks tour. I thought that was amazing.
That was great.
And that they're looking to continue it with the community gardens and such. I think perhaps an idea is for this committee to think on the same lines and do a field trip to all the education, and youth programming, organization, there's plenty. That could be a 5-year thing, right? And get around, like, put, faces to names and, press flash and see, get an appreciation, like we've each individually been able to, when we enter this particular door now, Rosa knows this place and I've never been there and vice versa. And then I had another idea, and it's probably a bigger project. And admittedly, because of my recent experience with my youngest, been really exposing me to a lot of youth and the arts activities. I know that Diana does her big youth festival, and that's awesome. Maybe we can do something also, maybe at another time of year. And the thought that I had selfishly is, something around music and the arts. Like the stuff that I've been seeing with these kids, like they're a lot better than grown people. Playing like they're nasty. And I know for a fact that we have the same thing here, right? It's just a matter of, kind of getting them all in the place. You remember when we did the go for Matthew? And the boys and girls did the performances and we're all there with our jaw on the floor, right? So I was just thinking maybe we can pull something together like that. Maybe it might be small at first, but ideally outside so folks can see it. Sometimes when you're inside, like you kind of have to know, but if it's outside, maybe you just kind of happen upon it and you're like, oh, small, like, and it's, I think, and I'll shut up. I think it's initially more palatable to see young people doing it. And then you can work your way up to the older folks.
See, I'm in music school, so these kids are better than people in school.
Yeah, they're incredible.
So, Angel, you say something very important, and so did Christine, how art, and I think you said it as well, how art is so important. And, one of my goals in the rebuild of the East Harlem Center is to make it like, we're gonna serve kindergarten through adolescents, young adolescents. And I really wanted to be, one of the things is workforce development, because we got a lot of money and that's gonna go in there. But the other part is to be the performing arts center of children's age. We're developing a chorus, which children's age used to have, but then again, as things changed, evolved, and funding got lost, and that we should be offering. I tell you, one of the things, I walked into Lexington Academy last year, and I'm hearing drumming. Like, oh shit, we hired a drumming teacher. And the powerfulness of what these kids learn so quick, right? And they're open to it because it's fun, it's exhilarating, it gets your juices going, right? And not every kid is an athlete, right? And while sports is one avenue for kids, how are we promoting it? And I'll say this, and I've been wanting to say this at a full board meeting. I still love coming down Fifth Avenue, and even though I get jammed up at 126th Street because of the construction, that building that's going up for the National Black Theater and for artists to live in was something that this community fought for and had many meetings, and feels good to see the outcome of our advocacy efforts. And that's gonna be an incredible building, and I'm looking forward to going back to doing meetings there. Ash.
I think the arts is a very important thing because even within the schools, I'm saying it's just hard to find like arts programs just around here, like Turtle Bay Music School, which is where I first went to. They used to have they were pushing the schools here, but now Turtle Bay Music School isn't a thing anymore. So a lot of these music schools, they're willing to work within communities, but it would be nice to have something here because there's just not enough spots. Like one example I could think of is I have one kid who he just walking around drumming everywhere, and he printed out, I don't know where he got drumming music from, he printed out drumming music. And he was saying how he really wanted to take lessons, but the school didn't have space in the drum thing that they have, and then also his parents couldn't find him drumming lessons that were affordable. So I think we just need stuff that's affordable, because we have the closest thing to here is, I think it's Bloomingdale Music School, which is something.
Daniels?
That's for, that's only for special needs.
Only especially.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, I'm just saying like something affordable because the closest thing is Bloomingdale's is close. That's like maybe like just 20 minutes on the bus. It's not that far. But it still is expensive and stuff. And it's nothing against these music schools, but maybe reaching out to them and be like, hey, could you bring something here? So that way there's more spots within the schools. Also, elementary school sometimes gets left in the dark in terms of actually like, that like upper elementary years, like third, fourth, fifth grade, that's the ideal. I'm not saying middle school can't be learning instruments, but I'm saying a lot of programs are pushed towards middle school. But the most like ideal age to like start playing an instrument is that like upper elementary age. So, yeah.
so what's interesting is, you know, as 50 years of hip hop, and I did a lot of research for things I thought I knew and knew, you know, and one of the things breakdancers often talk about, it was a way to reduce violence in the community because we were battling in a different way and still doing our bravado kind of thing, but not beating each other up. Too tired. And you know, again, it goes back to the arts, right? So maybe through arts might be one way of helping reduce some of the violence and stuff in the community.
I just want to throw in the traditional art as well, so visual art,
Yeah.
drawing, digital art as well, painting, you know, just kind of staring up, you know, just want to.
Yeah, I didn't want to leave out, I said that wrong, performing
Yeah,
arts and
Yeah, I
all
wasn't
arts.
leaving it out, that's just where my background is in, like specifically playing instruments, so.
And I'll tell you, my mother went to Juilliard, went to music and art, played piano. I tried 3 different instruments and couldn't, but I DJ. I like playing, I love the music in a different way, right? And taking it and recreating it. And they got this thing called stems now, that you hit a button and it takes the vocals out, or it takes the bass out and the drums. It's like, old music is new music I never heard before. No, but it's not in DJing. It's on the DJ machine, where you just go poof.
Yeah.
Yeah, John.
No, you know, the thing is that, you know, it's a shame that the arts were taken out of the schools. I mean, so many young people learn, they learn how to dance, how to play instruments. A perfect example, high school I went to, a guy that I knew, that he graduated a year ahead of me. He went on, he learned how to play the bass. He toured with Steely Dan for 20 years. He was in the Saturday Night Live band for 10 years. He the thing is that he won a Grammy because he played on one of Steely Dan's albums, and public school musician. I mean, the thing is that that talent hasn't gone away. It just hasn't been brought to the surface.
Well, it seems like maybe one of the things we might want to work on, because it's coming from different avenues and people speaking strongly, is advocating for more arts, more performing arts, more visual arts, right? And really bring that back, because again, kids need not every kid is different in what they need, and no one kid needs the same thing. Ash.
So David knows a little bit about like my background in music, but just wanted to put it out there. I played the clarinet for about 10 years now, and I'm in school, like music school. And I I started like playing in school, like there was like a program that came to the school and they were recruiting kids, and that's how I started playing. And I was, before that, you might not know this, I was doing sports. So it's crazy how like my life took a different trajectory, but I don't regret it necessarily, but I think it's just when the reason why I was saying before, going back to why in those like elementary years, that's the time for like to expose kids to as much as possible, because then you don't know what's the thing that's gonna stick. Yeah.
Yeah.
So age has its benefits. Because what I hear you're talking about, John knows it, I know it as well. Things that we're talking about, totally, we went to school with either arts, sports, education, humanities, the vocation vocational, I'm talking about. when you
Commercial?
learn how to
Now,
cook.
what was that? What was that class?
Home economics.
Yeah, yeah.
civics, all these things that we had, that's what the system was built on.
Yeah.
Feeling good about yourselves, doing things that were non-academic, that was the cultural part of it. And we had to take a bend, and society takes a bend to, at the end of 12th grade, where you going? Are you going to work, you're going to college? Technology comes into play, dollars become short, social issues hit, and all those things close down. So we always fight when budgets come to, when it comes to education and budgets, arts, and all that other stuff goes away. Music and art goes away, and it goes up the line. We all had to take physical education, it was required. I mean, we had to, President's fitness thing, we had to have gym to pass the fitness thing. You had to climb up that rope.
Rope,
jump
right,
up
do
on
so
top.
many push-ups and.
The real gym, real gym.
So we as a committee, I hear humans at the table. We live in a real society, so when we talk about feeling good, at the end of our 10 months, what we're doing, how do we be productive for the community we want to serve? How do we fulfill those needs? How do we get that information? I'm with Angel. I debate with a lot of people in my part of the community, but they don't know the resources that your community needs. They don't know what's happening, so there's a lot of despair, there's a lot of hopelessness, and people fending for themselves in a non-educated, uneducated world. So we as a committee have to figure out, we have a lot of ideas. I try to be on the side of the table at the end of a cycle, said this was accomplished. We put some goals together, some resources together that would match with resources and interests, that we made some things happen, let it evolve, as opposed to trying to go be everywhere and see how much we didn't accomplish, and it seems like we really weren't successful, we want to do, we had good intention. So all the things that we were saying, vocational education, commercial education, we have the benefit of doing that, of having an aviation high school. They know those skills that you were talking about were almost in every school. The vocational school, they had auto mechanics, whether it was steel, the shops, I had metal shop.
Carpenter.
Metal shop.
Metal
wood
shop,
shop,
wood
shop, yeah.
electrical, so we had all those things to explore when we were young. As
No,
well,
you're right.
I played the clarinet when I was in middle school. Played as, what you call it, song flute when I was in elementary school.
The recorder?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So,
like.
all those things. Went to operas and all the other cultural stuff. But where are we now? I'm a part of that school system where we learned the English language. We learned it. Right now, that's what the, Commissioner Banks is going back to, basic phonics and how to write,
Yeah.
basic stuff. So we have a lot to try to recapture for new generation. So next year will be my grandchildren, who that way, they're 3 generations back. That's where we are now, so where we have to learn from the very beginning. We talking about the new language speakers. There were always Spanish speakers in my community, but there are different ethnic groups that speak Spanish in my neighborhood now. Some are from Peru. So that's what I'm saying, so we're talking about different cultural thing I was talking about. That was from other place, so we have to figure out what are we going to do, because everybody, seems everybody here at this table have a heart and a compassion for this. They're talking about a population that's out there that are in desperate need without knowing where to go. And when they come to us, we gotta say, we have something other than something written on paper where we can deliver the services to. And it has to start from someplace where it can evolve into. You know, everybody's, I'm from the athletic arena. But in my generation, we did, like you hear, we did more than just playing sports, we did everything. So now we have these one sport guys, we lost Randall's Island. I'm saying I hope give it away, because we don't play certain sports because it's expensive to play certain sports. We need training, we need equipment, and all those types of things. And we don't even play stickball anymore. Because we can't read the street, those types of.
The reason why I talk about music and you bring up a good point is supporting everyone. I'm a music therapy major, and just what I'm learning about is how music is the unifier, like even within, like, if you don't speak the same language, a lot of these kids know the same songs. So they'll sing along together. It's also just when you do music that's activating a certain part of your brain that helps you learn and be able to process things in a certain way. Because I've seen kids who don't know how to read, the minute that you have them start doing music or you teach them how to read music, that's like the starting point to getting them to read. Because then they're looking at the notes and then they're looking at the songs, they're listening. So, yeah.
Again, different people need different supports to learn. Like my brothers, had a learning disability, right? So things backwards. And playing football with the X's and the O's helped him align things up. Went on, got his college degree and is very successful, you know, and again, I always say that, as an educator, as a youth developer, if the youth keeps doing the same thing and I keep getting if I keep having the same interaction and get the same result, then I need to do something different to help get a different result. And I think what Russell's, talking about is almost like the circle of life. It's like sometimes we forget how important something was because something else became important at the moment. That we go through this cycle before we can get back to where it is maybe what we really need or the intention.
Remember, the emphasis is always gonna be after the kids finish high school, where they're gonna get employed. So where's that skill set? So when STEM became the buzzword, so if you're not doing that, one is not doing that, where you gonna be employed? So careers are pushed toward that.
No,
I see a little thing.
that's the pointer,
Oh,
the
that's
little hand pointer.
So we ran a cross purpose on how do we feel good and do the things that help us become human beings, and then at the same time, how do we put our young people, everybody in a position where they can take care of themselves, to have a hot plate, to have a house to live in, be able to take care of themselves.
Maybe we could, just to like simplify everything that everyone has said, maybe a goal could be exposing children to different opportunities and activities.
modalities.
Because then that basically includes everything everyone said.
Well, again, sports time, I have to say, has been here for many years and before us. Has promised to do a lot of things, and sometimes we've not always delivered to their promise. And, again, I just want to commend them for the work that they did at Poor Richard's Playground and helping finalize and build tennis courts there as well as fix up the playground. But maybe we should reach out to them again and ask them to come back. Again, I think as I get also saying, Ash, is we have these wonderful opportunities that we should be exposing people to. This may be something for you that may get you to where you want to go. And maybe it's something you don't even know, but by exposing you've learned how important that is. So,
I'm sorry, to jump in. Another idea that came to mind while Craig was commenting before, like the youth action and positive workforce do a lot of work, right? Like just shifting off the music, even though it's also like actually my favorite thing. But those two organizations do, obviously, we know, right, a ton for kids, like change lives. And maybe having them come into committee, that's a simple step, but also, helping to kind of bring more eyes to both of those organizations. Or like I haven't been at Youth Bill in a minute, but I know David, so I've heard that whole gospel, Calvary. Right, but like I went like last year, I had the opportunity to go to Positive. It's like going to a church. It's incredible, like what they do for people there, right? And
well, they believe it. They really
and they're like their focus is a certain population, and a lot of times it's disconnected youth or folks that kind of in and out of education system, justice involved and all that. And what they're able to do in their most successful moments, right? Because nothing's 100%, is really remarkable. So like shining a light on those kinds of things that we do have in the district.
It's funny, Angel, when Reverend Brown was the vice chair of the committee, and again, this is kind of what Russell was saying earlier, we go through different cycles. So part of us expanding that mission to where it's that long was part of that work. And that year we brought in youth build and a lot of other organizations that serve that population. That's why, you know, as this committee changes, we shift some of where our direction goes and what we specifically concentrate on. And that was one of Reverend Brown's big pushes. And we brought those in and we had a series of uncomfortables. So that's now about 2 years because during COVID, it might be time to revisit that and bring that, you know, back. But you're right, and then it's making sure that we give good, you know, platforms to those unsung heroes in our community that maybe some don't know, right?
And that are doing such impactful work, right? Like you plug into that, or like, you know, we all know, like if you find like my kid, right, like was same age as actually, like was on one path and was kind of like losing interest, right? And then found his plan and he's a whole other person, right? And your plan could be anything. Your plan could be sports. Like if my parents would have been smart and put me in a you know, athletic school, I would have had a different outcome. They messed up. But you know, whatever, like I figured it out eventually. But like if you like, you know, get that kid or that adult, young adult into these particular places, right? Like they meet a Giordano, they meet a Shooter, they meet a Vinny Torres, they meet a, you know, Calvert. That's a life-changing in so many people. So the more swings that we can take at each one of those opportunities, right? Because when you don't know, then you're just kind of like, oh, there's nothing. But when you get an opportunity to take a swing, then maybe it doesn't work out at this one place, but maybe the other place does. And then one last thing is back to the arts thing. Like we are starting to create opportunities that we need to seize on. Like to your point about sport time, they presented an opportunity, we seized on it, now people are benefiting from it. Back on the arts thing, not just National Black Theater, but CCC ADI is gonna have a new location on 125th Street. So 2 locations, right? We need to jump on that. And then if the Timbala thing actually comes to fruition, that's another thing. And then there's Art Space, which is an incredible place. It's just tucked in, right? So like the beauty of the architecture kind of hides how there's really dope stuff inside. But once you're through that door, you're like, wow, there's all kinds of cool stuff in here. And then the more people know about that, then
well, like you mentioned, the Harbor program.
And the Harbor program.
I mean, you know, they do a wonderful, and actually, my kids switched from Chile to Harbor this year, but
and
they do a wonderful program around arts and performance.
Before I started working here a long time ago, people were in my like field when I was actively playing, were always pushing me to East Harlem for Latin music. Oh, you go here, you learn, and I don't know what the name of the school is. Maybe a Charlie knows. But that school's no longer here, evidently. And that was like a big thing, like my understanding from everyone that was pushing me at that time, this was like in the 90s, it was like, that's where everybody goes. Like everybody, there's anybody in salsa, whatever, goes there. But it's no longer here.
So what I hear about arts and music, what about, I grew up in the marching band days. So what about Community Board 11 creating a band? A band, put the other kind of music that your son is engaged with, a musical thing where they could take different avenues, you know, to join a band. You join a band. Or join whatever that musical thing could be.
CB11 Youth Energy.
No, it could be
ensemble.
No, it could be something that it comes directly, because it got to be attached to some committee, but a band. And that band in the musical world could be different areas. And at the end of the cycle, they're involved in something. It could be a band where City College used to be, the North Academic Center used to be Lewiston Stadium. When I was a kid, there were marching bands all over Harlem, drum and bugle calls, and all those things. And Lewiston Stadium was that stadium where all the marching bands before you were there.
Yeah, this is not my own.
No, definitely. That was major. It was major for us to go there. Medicine Townhouse with the Mission Society, the Travelers, all these different drum and bugle bands from all around every borough. So if we could start something like that here to be able to attract to the young people with their musical inclination on various sides, whether it's, you know, the spinning, which your son does, that's one avenue of it, playing musical instrument, being in a band, and have a concert at the end of it, a closing ceremony. stimulate the other community boards to do the same thing, have the march and the parade and all that other kind of stuff.
Wow, I saw your vision.
Uh,
No,
I mean,
You left
it's
me-
gonna cost money, but it's.
two things, they're kind of separate, but they both have to do with music. David has mentioned it before, but the performance we had over the summer at the school was that was really cool, like, the choir teacher that we have, she put a whole performance together, we had dance, so the kids really do wanna do parts. They may say that they think it's lame and stuff, but they all got up there and do it, and they were laughing, so I'm gonna assume that they liked it. My professor, he actually, is just like, cause you were talking about starting like bands and stuff here. My professor, he actually used to work at PS 171 before Mr. Durant got there. I forgot about this. He runs a modern band is the big thing now that they're doing, like, just around the country.
What's a modern thing?
I'm about to explain it. It's like rock band, like that type of, like, not your conventional, like, flutes, clarinets sitting there with the trumpets and stuff. So it's like pop music. He runs a organization called, it used to be called Little Kids Rock, now it's called Music Will. And they give free instruments to, like, educators who wanna start a band. I think that's just like a resource that we could, like, give to the music teachers we have in the area. Cause my mom has, full disclosure, my mom has gone through the program. They teach it's like they send the teachers to a workshop, they learn how to teach guitar, they provide them with the amps, the guitars, pianos. So, yeah.
Well, maybe one of the things that we do, before we get to the band and making our own band.
No,
No. There are quite a few bands in East Harlem in the schools, right?
Yes.
So, maybe the thing is the dialogue with them and then maybe have some event like we do at the youth, the District 4 Welcome Home, they usually have the kids perform and they did some great dancing, drumming, performing.
Yeah.
Maybe we help support that and do something district-wide and opening it up to Daniel's Music School as well. And maybe some of the private schools in our neighborhoods or the charters may also have programs. So a way to capture what Russ was talking about without investing as much in creating. But maybe a talent kind of show with the bands of the schools.
Money used to have a talent show. When I was younger, I remember we used to have a, like, it was in El Museo. There was like a thing where the whole district, cause I remember I paid for quarter in it.
Oh, they do it in this.
We
Yeah,
did
no,
the
no.
arts, I believe,
Yeah.
back in May. I
You're right.
even had, my
I
daughter
forgot about that,
for the first time ever, she went in front of, the stage and danced and sang and everything. So
But I
we
remember
have
it's a
couple of
really
schools.
big thing. Yeah.
Well, sometimes we don't even know, cause I tell you, Children's Aid participates in this thing called MSG where they have
Oh,
kids
yeah.
all over the city perform and then they go and perform at Radio City Music
Radio,
Hall.
yeah.
And one of the kids like in second place, we didn't even know she was in our school, the mother and, but sometimes you don't know, right? Because people don't know, there's not a common way to communicate about it.
I'd like to say that thank you, Andrew, for the youth bill shout out. Of course, as I guess I'll say it now.
Oh, you work?
Yeah, I work there. I'm the manager of outreach and community engagement.
Oh, so we should have you do a presentation.
You have a business card?
Not with me, but I have a QR. I have a.
Okay, good.
Connecting.
Connecting.
But speaking towards that, if anybody would like to collaborate, come speak to our youth. Xavier, who was on the call, he came during our most recent orientation and left a lasting impression on our students as well. So I'm definitely open to it. And just speaking towards talent shows and things of that nature. Last year, our students were involved in improv. We did improv sessions with in collaboration with DOE. I believe the sessions were called Open and Act. And at the end of the school year, the students had the opportunity to create their own short film and present it at some major theater, somewhere downtown. But I was surprised how many of them actually went to go see not only support their classmates, but it was the whole district 79 schools that presented during that time too. So I think that, young people would like to be involved in that. So,
Well, again, I think, again, as we look and formulate our goals, right, we're talking about arts and exposing kids, providing opportunities to put them out there, because, the thing for a performer or an artist is that their work is seen, right? Whether it's dancing or visual or, I tell you, I love when people come to, oh, yeah, I really like the way you played today, or right, you played that thing. And the best thing I ever heard was, we had a parent event, the parent came and said, oh, you playing music? Like, I heard her say, oh, he's playing music, and I like listening to him play music. That was like, really made my ego go up, and what, I'm human. But look, at least I don't have ego running the other direction, but we're gonna talk about
Yeah,
that.
definitely.
It's important to expose, and I think part of Youth and Education Committee is advocating, of course, but also exposing and providing opportunities, and I look forward to working with you. So we've talked a lot. What I'd like, when we come back, we'll finish up the mission and then kind of begin to formulate, the things that we'll really work on and advocate on this year. I do want to get some of those principles in here, both charters as well as DOE, so that they're voicing what their needs are. We also have the support of the CEC and overlapping in some of that stuff. Angel, your suggestion was good, and I remember when Elsie and George was here, we were doing tours of the schools. It's one of the things, again,
Yeah.
it's time again to go circling, and maybe, I might have not pushed it as much in the last few years, because on the CEC, that's one of the roles that we do as well, right? But that's cheating the rest of the committee sometimes. I think, and I didn't participate as much, what Malik and Jessica did with the committee was really great, and I think, that's hands-on, right? And that's what we need to see. We need to hands-on see the things that people communicate about, so we can best advocate for those things or find ways around it. So with that, I'd like to just table this to the next as the goals, and we finish, unless anybody, I don't wanna leave any passion. Xavier, yes, Xavier. Thanks.
Evening, everyone. I apologize. I really enjoy this. I can't be biased, but I really enjoy this committee's work. I do like the idea of formalizing a site visit, and Dr. Christie de la Cruz, as I've mentioned during many full boards, it's always an open invitation. So run with the idea of formalizing, and people who can plug in when the tours are done, just run with that and do it. It's been eye-opening for me to be boots on the ground and to really see the particulars when it comes to our budget requests. So please keep doing that. Kareem, thank you for the nice words. I really valued being in the space, and hope to come back whenever you are cool with it. And I would encourage the other members who want to lead in, if you want to invite them. We're all about rebuilding the community. And so thank you. This has been a really, the last part of the meeting. Well done, and to the entire team. So thank you. And yeah, let's get everyone on a stage to perform. So yeah. No, but thank you, everyone. It's a really great conversation.
So thank you, Xavier. Just in following up from the environment and open space, we will be working together to collaborate on the Earth Day event. We will be, Children's Aid will be participating in it. We are looking to open it up to larger schools, and as they're doing, as Rosa mentioned, the 4 climate days, I think would be great to maybe have one school on each of those different categories present. So we should invite them as well, those that they've already done the work and can present on it. I do have one thing of new business, and I wish we would have at least brought it up prior to, but so Rosa had mentioned during the CEC4 that there was a resolution about supporting INT 11272023, monitoring and reporting indoor air quality in schools. So we already know that there's a lot of challenges with the water fountains in schools and the rust, and we had a presentation at the CEC about some of those things, how they have to fix it and close down. So we do think it's important as there are many old buildings to do monitor. There may be asbestos that's unknown. More than likely, buildings in the 1920s do have asbestos in them. What I did learn in having a 1925 building at East Harlem is that the walls were made with lead in the walls. So, it doesn't matter the paint, the lead is in the wall, and those walls all had to be encapsulated with sheetrock, and it's a process, but safety is the most important thing for kids in school, both emotional, both physical, should be maintained at all times. So I do want to add this as new business, and then we will vote on it next month. We will send it out, Rosa,
Yeah, I'll send a draft.
and that if everybody can take a look at it, so we can just put it in as for a motion to support going forward. Yes, Xavier?
Yes, sorry, go on. Sorry,
No.
I'm dealing with the young ones. Could you?
So, again, we'll look at this next month. Again, I'm really happy that we're able to support Urban Dove and come into the community. I think they have a unique program that uses sports as a foundation for their work, and really uses young people to be supported by coaches as well as teachers and the rest of the administration staff. Is there any other new business? Anybody?
No new business, but I have the announcements from before that I couldn't
Sure.
remember properly. So, I'm part of the governance team from the East Harlem Community Partnership, and that is one of the organizations that provides a scholarship for seniors and adults that are continuing their education. So we've been providing couple of thousand, like $10,000 every single year for kids to continue the education. The application is most probably gonna go out like March, April, so keep on the lookout for that. We're going to have a little community eating together on Monday at 11 a.m. at 71 East 111th Street, second floor. And also the information that I've seen, 111. 111. Yeah, Madison and Park Avenue. Also, with the support from Tamika Map, we're going to have a Thanksgiving lunch party where everyone will come and get a hot plate of food in Lexington Avenue and 125th Street, November 23rd, which is Thursday at 1 p.m. On the menu, turkey, greens, macaroni and cheese, sweet potatoes, potato salad, cranberry sauce, and a couple of desserts.
Thanks.
Whoever wants to support, more than welcome to do so. Yeah, that's it.
What time is it?
1 p.m. to whatever time it finishes. And clothing. Also, we're gonna have clothing, coats, shoes, etc.
Any other? Yes.
I'm not sure this is the appropriate time to say this, but so at Youth Action, we speaking of youth-led initiatives, we have 6 young people who, let me go back. We received a grant to have 6 young people lead whatever initiative that they wanted to. So the 6 young leaders decided that they would like to not only start a food pantry within the program to combat food insecurity and just have readily food available for students as needed. But they also wanted to do a food drive as well for the holiday season. So we want to do it for next Tuesday. However, we're looking for donations of food and non-perishables and eventually turkeys. So if anybody could, assist us with that or resources regarding that would be helpful. But we're looking to do it next Tuesday at November 21st and 118th and 2nd Avenue, 2294 2nd Avenue. That would be definitely helpful.
We definitely need to connect, because I have a lot of the schools that do can drives and everything. And we have a lot of organizations that will be more than willing to support.
So what's it for?
Building.
Right.
It is, it's always, yeah.
Any other things we missed?
QR.
Okay, so with that, we will adjourn the meeting at 8:22 with a roll call by Adrian.
Kareem,
Present.
Rosa,
Present.
David, John.
Present.
Al, happy Thanksgiving.
Amen.
No, we'll be at full board.
Jennifer,
No, it's Al.
Asher,
Present.
Russell.
This is 28th.
Next Tuesday?
Yeah, forum.
Oh,
Not this Tuesday.
no, it's the 28th.
Yeah,